I'm looking to my right and seeing one of my favorite people to be here as an in-studio guest, and he's here as an in-studio guest. This is amazing to see you. Graham Rahal in advance of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach that goes down this Sunday in the IndyCar season finale. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
Good to see you. How's your family? How's everything?
Everything's great. Baby girl's 10 months old now, almost 11 months.
Dude.
Just growing like crazy.
That is so cool.
Understanding what life is now really all about.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Right.
But, no, it's been great.
What's her name?
Harlan.
Harlan
Ann. Yep.
Harlan Ann Rahal.
So it's been cool. She's been able to travel to most of the races. Which has been good because travel is kind of funny as it is. Luckily with IndyCar, most of the early part of the season was kind of in the South and then the Midwest, and obviously as things kind of opened up even further,
right.
Here we are finishing our season, Portland, and 2 races in California. So it's been fairly easy to get her to all those races, and it's been cool.
The Long Beach, the Grand Prix of Long Beach is just such a historic
big time
race.
Yeah.
Do you feel that history when you're out there on the course? What do you...
For sure. It's 45 years or so, something around there.
Uh-huh.
And I think too that people in this area, in Southern California, whether you're a racing fan or not, if you say the Long Beach Grand Prix, people know, and typically know it's April. Clearly we're still adjusting, and it's our finale this year. Next year it will go back to April, which will be good.
Right.
But it's cool because people appreciate, what the event is, and it helped, change that city too. When the first Grand Prix was there, Long Beach was not the best place to be. It's certainly improved a ton. It's a beautiful venue. The racetrack hasn't changed much over the years.
Yeah.
So the ride you went on is the same as the ride I'll get all weekend.
Yeah.
And it's been cool.
Yeah, I know. We just showed a video of me riding with Mario Andretti. Took me around, and I get out of the spin around with him, and I'm saying on the video, like, you do this for a living. What is the matter with you? I think I said that to you because you had just walked.
Yes, I think
onto
it was
the course at that time. So I guess it is unbelievable. What is it like to be behind the wheel of a car on a course like this one?
Well, it's tight. There's no margin for error, zero. But I think that's also, from a mental standpoint, that's what makes, I think, racing so intense and makes the driving aspect of it so hard is, you have to memorize every single bump around there. And you have to memorize every single wall and apex and where I need to be. And if I hit this bump while I'm turning, it's going to move me this amount of feet or inches. And therefore, I have to give myself this kind of margin. But, again, though, this place doesn't change that much. And luckily, the weather in Southern California is always good, so the track itself doesn't change.
Correct.
There's places that we go to, there's places that we race, particularly in the Midwest. You get a hot summer, cold winter, pavement changes a little bit. You go there the next year, and suddenly there's bumps that weren't there the year before.
So it's basically like course knowledge, like a caddy has a course
Absolutely.
book. Like, is there something like that for
Absolutely.
you?
Well, we don't have a book other than just notes that you may take on your phone or at the end of every race weekend, we do detailed notes to the engineers so that we know when we go back there next year, we're going to study this. And, these are things that we may experience. And if we do, this is how we reacted and it worked or it didn't.
Right.
But yeah, everything, it is, you could almost use a caddy book if you had one because every single corner, all the straightaways, even where you just drive down the straightaways. Sometimes, in our cars, because how low they sit to the ground, you hit a big bump on the straightaway, it can really shave off a lot of straight line speed. So, where do you drive down the straights? You got to remember all of those things. Luckily, I've been racing on Long Beach for a while.
Yes.
So fairly used to it now. And we're looking forward to a good weekend and hopefully finishing the season off strong.
Brockman, this is the point where you tell Graham that when you made a right turn from the left lane into the aquarium, that you might have taken a chunk out of the road. Like, this is where I think you need to come clean, Chris. Because isn't that when you said you were prior to the Olympics here on NBC Sports on Peacock? we mentioned what we would win a gold medal if this was a sport. Fill in the blank. What was your sport that you
my Olympic sport would be, Graham, quarter mile or less to go. I'm in the far left lane, and I will cross over 3, 4, 5 lanes of traffic and make the exit
there you go.
On time.
So that's what he would win the gold in that.
I will make it every time.
Out here in LA, you get a lot of practice with that.
Oh, gosh.
So you ought to be extremely good.
Absolutely. Well, just northeast driving.
You didn't do it at Long Beach, though. This man
I
just
haven't
told
done it.
you
I haven't done it at Long Beach.
Okay.
No, 405, 95.
Yeah.
Anything with a 5.
Experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
experience.
Mine was 2-bounce tennis. Like if you give me a second bounce at tennis, I would win the gold medal.
I actually agree with that. I like 2-bounce tennis.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier.
For sure.
And a lot more fun. I mean, 1 bounce is, I feel like 1 bounce for me, it's over so fast.
Right. Could you imagine you get a second bounce?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Please, Federer, my ass.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much. I got Graham Rahal here on the Rich Eisen Show, and you're very nice. You brought this version
Die-cast, yes.
This die-cast.
That's the Indy 500 car.
Look
So that's a
at this,
special
man.
edition. We don't even sell those, Rich.
This is
That's
very
a
impressive.
Ooh.
very special thing.
I love it, and it's got on it an inscription. Rich, happy birthday.
Because I was told it was your birthday,
It's all
Rich.
good. No, you're a few months late, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Well, it's the first time I've seen you, so it's still valid.
And then what it says here, I think I read what it says with your autograph. Very much appreciated. Go Bucks is
say
what
go
it says
Bucks.
right here, right? Is that
I
what
don't
it
think
says?
I could ever give you anything and not say
It says
Bucks.
Go Bucks on it, and you don't. When did you become a Milwaukee fan? Winning the championship.
Rich, you know where I'm going with that.
When did you start rooting
I'm not
for
a Milwaukee fan.
Oh, you're not okay.
I feel like
Oh.
saying Go Buckeyes is very uncomfortable.
Understood.
That's way too long.
So I've got a trivia question.
Uh-oh.
When was the last time Michigan beat Ohio State?
No.
It's a little more current than that.
Yeah, it's more current.
Graham, yeah.
It's more current.
Yeah.
current.
So you heard how Oklahoma and Texas joined the SEC, right?
Yeah.
Sort of upset a whole apple cart and
Yeah.
started a domino effect.
Yes.
Where, and Cincinnati is now going to the Big 12,
Yes.
right? So there's a lot of dominoes moving. And so the Big 10 reached out to the Pac-12
Yeah.
and the ACC to form what they called an historic alliance.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is right there. There's the graphic right there. ACC, Big 10, and the Pac-12. So in the history of the historic alliance, which is not vast, it's only a couple weeks, which team won the first game in the history of the historic alliance amongst conferences from said historic alliance? Which one for the Big 10 came up with that one?
I'm going to guess it's your team.
That's correct. It would be Michigan. It would be Michigan.
That's correct.
And I'm writing it down to make sure that we remember it over Washington.
Well, Washington is terrible.
Well,
Terrible.
I don't know if I would call kids who try and compete terrible,
Okay,
Graham. I mean,
Win's a win.
A win is a win. And
I
I will say, look, I knew that this was going to get heated today because you guys look a lot better.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
no, we do. I mean, but
we'll see
again,
once they play
it's still
Michigan
early.
State.
It's
or,
still early. It's still early. But when you're trying to strike a blow on behalf of a conference, and you get an opponent in your house from another conference in the historic alliance,
we flopped.
you wanna stand your
No,
ground
no,
on
look,
behalf
I'm
of
with you.
others. So
Trust me,
which
there's a lot of depression in
so then
Columbus, Ohio.
you
right now.
got the first part of the trivia question correct. Let's see if you can complete it. Which team failed
Oh, I know that team.
in the first attempt at trying to win one for the historic
I know
alliance
that
of the Big
team.
Ten? Which
And
team
it's
was
the
that?
the first time we've ever
Which
lost
team
to
was
Oregon.
that? It's just the hint is they're inscribed on this beautiful cast iron car.
Yeah, I'm well aware, Rich. I didn't
That's
bring a
all I
lot of
got.
ammo for you today because
It's
I
okay.
do.
That's all I got. I'm out of
My
trivia
whole
questions.
season,
Yes.
my whole season, and it's not even mine. But as a fan,
Yes.
is now just can we beat Michigan?
You know what? It's ridiculous.
That's really all I.
That's so
at this
stupid.
stage-
It's so stupid. You got a whole schedule in between. Like the other games don't matter. I mean, what
Not
is it?
really at this stage.
I mean,
That's the one.
that's it.
That's the one.
Because
for
you know,
me.
again, we don't live for it. We don't live for you. You know what I mean? We live for
going
a
to
season.
Rome and doing all these fancy things.
Yes, we're
Don't-
trying to live our life. But look, the number of times I'm already hearing it. I'm hearing it from you. I'm hearing it from others, and I'm about to hear it from you. Oh, the defense. You might be able to get us this year. I'm hearing that already, and I don't want to hear it.
With Ohio State's even?
Yes.
Yeah, but they were bad last year too, and the year before that.
So you're concerned?
It's going to
You're
be a
legitimately-
gunfight. I think it just comes down to who can score the most. And I don't know. I mean, you may not have even seen this, but they just announced that C.J. Stroud, starting quarterback's out for this weekend.
Right.
So you're going to see two other. That's the thing with Ohio State. I
please.
will say, and you can even admit this, they are so young that I don't understand. Like, you have 4 freshman quarterbacks, 2 redshirt, 2 true.
Right.
I mean, at some point,
All I know.
there's no experience there. Is the
All
problem.
I know is that there was a quarterback once upon a time in your school, not so long ago, who I was told, in fact, by Ryan Day himself when he called into this program, that he's really green. He's really green, and I don't know what he's going to be able to do. We're going to try and coach him up and all that sort of stuff. And he threw 50 touchdown passes. And this was after the green kid went into a game in the big house when J.T. Barrett got hurt. And I thought, okay, that's good for us. And Dwayne Haskins lit it up. So
I think he's going to – I hope that for Dwayne – Dwayne Haskins is awesome. I hope that the Steelers are like some sort of a good opportunity for him to get outside of what happened in Washington because that kid had tons of talent. Now, he didn't play much in college, right? He only played one season and then moved on. And, and obviously you got Fields who's going on hopefully this weekend
Big
have a good first start.
Man. I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to be really good, actually.
Smart kid. I mean, smart player. So
look, I mean,
we'll see.
We just Graham Rahal here on the Rich Eisen Show. We just established that Urban Meyer was quoted by the head coach of the Denver Broncos, Vic Fangio, as saying it's like playing Alabama every week in the NFL. Like, look, man, I mean, Justin Fields threw the entire route tree on top of Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was phenomenal.
Big time.
In that game. And Clemson's defense, half of it's been drafted by the Raiders and Peacock pretty much over the last 2 years. I just think the moment's not going to be too big for him. He's back in Ohio, which I don't know if that will matter to him or not. It's in Cleveland. But, I mean, it's just there'll be Buckeye fans in the stands. I don't know if they'll be rooting for the Bears or not, but I kind of believe in the kid.
I mean, if you look like jersey sales, what they say, he's third highest jersey sales since the draft, and he's a heck of a player. And I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like Andy Dalton's had how many chances now, and it's just not working out. And I understand he got hurt, but Fields is a guy like I think Fields is certainly capable. You look at like what what Shanahan's doing with Trey Lance, like getting him in, letting him do some plays. I mean, he's been able to score. He's been a part of it, working him in. Like, I mean, it doesn't feel like Fields has really had that opportunity. Sure, he's played 1 or 2 plays, but not much. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when he can get in and just kind of play a whole game. The kid is so talented.
He is.
I mean, he is so talented. Like, there's no reason to believe that he, if they want to say that he's not ready, then how are any of the other guys
They're
ready?
Not.
Like, that's the thing. Like, when are you ready? I mean, I guess you gotta go and you gotta play, and you're gonna learn. You're gonna throw some picks. You're gonna have some ups and downs. But I just feel like it's a good opportunity for him.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what he can do.
No question. I totally agree with you.
And I'm not even a Bears fan. My whole family's from Chicago. I find the Bears mostly annoying. Probably like people find Ohio State fans mostly annoying.
Yes.
But I am excited to see
Not to correct you, I find Ohio State fans completely annoying. Not mostly.
I'm sure you do.
And that includes you, who I genuinely like personally.
Sure you do.
And which is why I'm just going to tell you, I think Justin Fields is going to be very successful. And plus, all he's got to do is just be marginally better than Mike Tomczak or Kent Graham, and he's the greatest Ohio State quarterback in the history of the NFL.
This was coming too.
So so
this
that's
has been
it.
pointed
it's just
out to me
the
by
bar.
someone.
Like there's a bar, and it's set like it's down here.
Down here,
right? Especially when the bar being set by the greatest Michigan quarterback to ever play in the NFL. Like there's a roof here, and we got to go to the very top.
That's not even
like
fair.
We got to go above. You got to. I don't even know if I can
the
reach
greatest
up.
Michigan. That's just the greatest quarterback
ever.
And I've told you this.
Yes.
I was not a Tom Brady fan at all.
Why?
Because he played in Michigan.
Okay.
And now I find like I'm a big Tom Brady fan because I'm getting older in my sport and in racing. You age and man, the aches and the pains and how do I stay ahead of it? Now I'm competing with kids that are. When I started, I was 18. And now you've got kids that are 21, 22. Young that are doing this, and I'm like, I how do I stay ahead of this?
Right.
And yet you see Brady, and you start to, as a guy like me who competes in a whole different sport, right? IndyCar racing very different than the NFL.
No, but it's just.
But you can appreciate how has this guy been able to do it? How does he bounce? Back and forth. And we had a couple players come to the St. Pete. Scotty Miller was one of them.
Yes.
And asking him about Brady and the mental aspect. He said this all week. I mean, he pounded into everybody's head. Super Bowl week, we're gonna win. This is how we're gonna win. This is what we're gonna do. And then you take that in my sport, and how can I keep my mechanics fired up? How do I get my engineers engaged every single weekend? There's a lot you can pull, let alone the keeping your body healthy and all that stuff. But I found myself to be a big fan. I mean, he's not just the greatest Michigan quarterback; he's the greatest to ever play this. And if you look at the record, it's staggering. Like. We have a guy in our sport, Scott Dixon,
yes,
who's the same. And if you look at Scott Dixon's record, You look at how many wins Scott Dixon has versus how many races he's competed in.
Yeah.
The percentage is ridiculous. Now you look at the amount of top 5s he's had or top 10s. Those records will never be broken. Like you can't, it's like 70% of the time he finishes in the top 10 in a race. When you think in racing, how many DNFs you have because something fails or somebody punts you and takes you out, or just all of these random mistakes that you may make. You look at his record and it's like Brady. It's just how do you beat that? How do you? It's staggering, and so you find yourself being a fan and trying to figure out what you can learn from somebody in that position.
And the crazy thing is, he was going to go to Michigan too. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm sorry.
Scott Dixon?
I'm sorry. That was Jeter. My bad.
I was going to say Scott Dixon.
And Madonna. I'm sorry. My bad.
And Madonna.
Just all-time greats. Just
Madonna
saying.
did go to Michigan.
Oh.
All right, so I'm going to ask you, if Harbaugh loses to Ohio State or Michigan State this year,
He's not going anywhere.
You think he stays?
Of course he does. Yes, of course he does.
You really think he's the answer?
I don't want. You know what? Here's the deal. I just noticed this. You have come in here, which I'm thrilled about, and you come here. You haven't said in a split. You haven't even said what are we going to do this November? Because you're.
I've been waiting for you to ask me.
I'm not going to. I'm not going there. And because there's no more gear that you can put me in. Like
that's the problem.
Like we've already exactly. Like we're done. We're done. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I don't think.
But I'm not going to go there yet. I mean, I just like what I've seen so far. They're running the heck out of the ball. I know I might be accused of talking up an opponent, but Rutgers is 3-0. And Schiano,
Schiano's doing a good job.
I know they are 3-0.
There's not as many weak links anymore.
Nope.
Schiano's going to do well. Maryland can play here or there. They're going to put up some points. Like
they got
there's a lot of schools that can
exactly
that can surprise you. And at the same time, it's like whether you're Ohio State, you're Michigan, whoever you are, you're always going to get everybody's best shot. Period. They're going to throw it all at you, and that's where like Schiano, even with Rutgers last year against Ohio State, like he's throwing every trick play in the book at him.
No doubt.
You never know what can happen, but anyway.
Before I let you go, how's Letterman? How's he doing?
Letterman's doing well. In fact, I'll see him. I haven't seen him much this year, but we're doing a big charity event for my wife, my foundation called Vino for Vets up in Napa in about a month, and Dave's going to come out. He's going to kind of do a 20, 30-minute MC
How cool is
event
that?
with a well-known vet to speak about PTSD and all of the things we're trying to raise money for. And so we're excited about that. He's never, it's the first time I've ever asked him, to do something like that, but he jumped right in. And, he just calls me and says he's back to work. But I hear from Dave all the time. Every race weekend, tomorrow I'll hear from him. Saturday I'll hear from him. Sunday. Long Beach is a big race, ends the season for us, and he's super engaged. I mean, he's watching, paying a lot of attention. Well, maybe you ought to get him on the show.
That would be, I don't even know. I don't have words for it, to be honest with you.
He would do it. I'll bet you he'd do it.
He's
a big sports guy.
I would love to have him. And
he's got to talk about Ball State.
I do this for a living because of him. I'm serious.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, he is an idol of mine.
That's awesome.
There is no doubt. And when I did the show as a guest, it was an out-of-body experience for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the cue cards from that appearance is what's hanging in my green room.
I did see that.
That is from that one time with Letterman. He's
an
all-time, that needs to be said. And if you could just say anything to him, my condolences to him on Norm Macdonald passing away. I know he was a big fan of his, and it was the last comic to appear on his show, on his run. So
it's
if you say that, obviously, but
I'll send him a message right when we get off here.
You're lucky, man. You're surrounded by goats. You're surrounded by goats, and thank you for this this birthday gift.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I appreciate
3 months late. Happy birthday.
No, it's okay. My birthday was right when the Milwaukee Bucks won, so it's very nice that you included Go Bucks here on it. Thank you.
Sure
I really appreciate that. Everyone check out, again, the Grand Prix of Long Beach. The Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach is this Sunday. And go to grahamrahal.com/Vino for Vets to make sure that we all jump in and give as much money to your charitable contributions for a terrific cause. I appreciate you coming here, Graham. You're awesome,
thanks,
brother.
Rich.
Good to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.